Isaac, what are you doing?
Quiet. I'll be asking the questions. What's on this episode of the KickCast?
Uh, so coming up is a way to reduce the emissions coming out of your car
Uh,
and possibly increase the mile per gallon. Um, a way to use the wind and help clear out minefields.
okay.
Yeah, and a stylus for your iMac and the IKEA speaker for everything. So everybody, sit,
Excellent.
everybody, sit back and relax,
Try to relax.
because it's time for the KickCast. Hey, everybody, it's another episode of the KickCast, the podcast about crowdfunding projects. I am Ktdata, and as always, my co-host is Isaac. How you doing, Isaac?
Good. I think I'm slowly getting some type of sinus infection.
That's not good. At least you made
So
it
excuse
through.
me if my voice is lower and more epic than usual.
More epic. Well, at least you made it through the holidays, and I hope all of you guys made it through the holidays. It's a brand new year, so might as well make a brand new episode of the KickCast, right?
2013, episode 6.
The year of the KickCast. If you guys have never watched this show before, because you've decided that your New Year's resolution is to come watch a new podcast, and you decided to come here, you picked a good spot. So what Isaac and I do is we go find two Kickstarter or crowdfunding projects each. It doesn't have to be on Kickstarter, but a majority of them end up being on Kickstarter. Um, Today we actually have one that's on Indiegogo, and we kind of discuss it, and we have our nice rating system here that is back, track, or sack on there. So let's go on to our first one on the chopping block. Isaac, before I do, I gotta ask you, how much do you actually like paying for gas?
Oh, I love it. I love to just pull up to the gas station and open up my wallet, just like that commercial. Here it is, boys. Take it.
Just,
Of course, I hate it.
I think everybody does. So our first project that's coming up is the Compensator right here, or and it's supposedly reduces 75% of the emissions that comes out of your car, and it is supposed to save up to 25 miles per gallon on there. Up to, might I say. So your results may vary on there. And so it's actually, the Compensator is a device that actually works by breaking down so your gas is made out of heavy hydrocarbons on there, and how it works is that it breaks it down to lighter hydrocarbons such as methanol and ethanol. Isaac's a huge partier, so I'm pretty sure he's familiar with ethanol.
Oh,
And
yeah.
right, so they do that right before the fuel is injected into the engine manifold. So essentially, you're burning these lighter hydrocarbons, which means they actually burn a little bit more efficiently than your heavier ones that you get in your gasoline on there. And so that's how it kind of works. There's actually a lot more science in it that probably would bore you if we decided to go into it on there. But what's nice is that
So we're going to go with the tagline.
yeah. Yeah. What's nice though is actually on the project it links to the actual files or to the website that has the theory behind the compensator on there. The reason I actually put this up is because I don't know enough about cars to know if this actually works or not. But
Yeah.
I like his approach right there. So there's a level where you can actually get the compensator, which is like 250 Canadian dollars, because this project's in Canada. But hey, the U.S. dollar sucks, so it's about 1-1 anyways. Um, on there, what happened was, so there's that, but all the other levels you get some sort of book or some kind of educational material on how we can build more fuel efficient cars. Or I think there's even one about some guy who built a car that runs on water on there. So, how do you think about it? What do you think about this, Isaac?
Well, I think it's kind of interesting. We should mention that. So his goal is 12,000. And does he mention what he's using the money for exactly? Does he need like a production run or
well, yeah.
money for cast molding?
So the idea is that if they sell 250 of the compensators, that will be enough for them to make a full run of them.
Got
But
it.
he's realistic in saying that not everybody has $250 to, or actually it might be more than that, to contribute to get a compensator on there. So he has these other levels, or 150. I'm wrong, but he has other perks that you can kind of pitch in because he knows that not everybody can support this right now.
Yeah. So this is kind of interesting. I mean, I think it goes. It's kind of funny. It talks about it's like potentially a conspiracy that why doesn't the oil companies just have these available? But
Yeah.
there's some type of regulation. I don't know. I think it's a cool idea if it works, and for the amount of money you're going to save in gas, if it's true to its claim, it's going to easily pay for itself. So
Yeah, that's the reason why I actually picked this one, because you don't really see a lot of crowdfunding projects these days that try to raise.
it's not like a toy, or it's not. This
Yeah.
is like a practical utility.
and it tries to help promote the idea, where he says he's realistic about not everybody will want to put this in his car, but it's a good discussion starter on how we can actually make more fuel efficient cars and less emission, like more. I don't even know what the word is. Less emission.
Low emission
low-
vehicle.
yeah, low emission vehicles.
LEV is what it says on the side of my car.
Yeah, so it's a good discussion in that point where people are trying to get you more in that sense. So yeah, I totally dig it on there. I probably am not smart enough to know how to put this into my car, but
Looks like there's just a rubber hose and there's only 2 holes. The problem is,
where do the other end of the
where do the
hose is hooked to? I have no idea.
No, I probably wouldn't go rummaging around with my catalytic converter, but maybe. So I'm going to say track, because I want to find out what goes on with this. This is an interesting project. It's very unique.
Yeah, I definitely say back, because he, for one, he doesn't expect you to go to the highest level. He's like, give what you can, and at least you learned a little bit about what possible technologies are out there.
Well, yeah, and to disrupt all the government conspiracies, I mean, that's, for starters, that's totally worth it. Sarcasm delivered.
We're gonna get taken off the air now because you said things.
Shut
about
him
government.
down.
This might be our last episode, and you can blame Isaac for it on there. So if this is gonna be our last episode, might as well go out with the bang.
Seriously.
So let's go to our next project.
Speaking of utility, this thing's all about utility. So I was rummaging through Kickstarter here, and I came across this mine Cafon. So this is kind of an interesting project. This guy wanted to make a low-cost landmine detonator. So we'll put this in the notes, but it's essentially a big ball, and it has a bunch of sensor platforms on them. I think the wheels or spokes that radiate to make the ball are made out of bamboo, and I think you could probably use other materials. And there's some rubber gaskets, so the surfaces kind of bend, so it rolls like a ball. And it looks like, I don't know, it looks like a giant ball, and it has a GPS in it. Just to give some information about landmines, he goes on to talk about, like, for example, he gives in Afghanistan. According to one report, about 1 million Afghans live within 500 meters of an area exposed containing landmines. So these are kind of the remnants of war. And this guy's kind of cool because he, is basically wanting to solve like an environmental problem that's created by man, and it's kind of done in a cool way. And he actually has some cool rewards that you can do to make these balls. And they're trying to get it to the point where they can do an actual application in a war-fronted area with landmines. So, so that's kind of the rundown.
Yeah, I also like that. Although he plans on testing this in Afghanistan, he's a realist and realizes that in the year that it's going to take him to put these mine confons together, that the landscape in Afghanistan might be a little too dangerous to travel to. On there. But
yeah,
so he has other places such in Africa, and I think another place in South America where there are also other landmines. So he has a backup plan if this doesn't work to being where the areas he is. And I love this idea of having it low cost, because when you actually start thinking of different mine explosive things, you always think of these like electronic robots
Oh yeah,
or just
thousands of dollars.
yeah, some complicated system. While this is relatively low cost
It's a brute force attack.
and uses zero energy for it to do, because it's literally on the wind out there.
Yeah.
I'd love to see this project work.
I would too. I'd like to see this, to see where this goes and what happens with it. And it's cool. He's really transparent with the costs, what it's going towards, things like that. He has some really cool rewards. Kevin and I were talking about before the show started. This iPhone case that he has with this "every life counts" on the back of it. That's kind of like his motto. And it shows the little mine diffusing ball. It's kind of cool. So his goal, he's already made it. So we're gonna. Oh wait, no,
he's not
that's
there
the
yet.
other project. So it's 59,000, and this is a project out of Britain, because it's in pounds.
It's pounds.
And so he's looking for 100,000 pounds, which is something like $125,000 or something like that. But yeah, so he has 1,981 backers, 14 days to go. So I really want him to succeed in this. So I'm really thinking about backing this project and getting this iPhone case. Not just saying back, but actually backing and getting something.
I think this is a good idea. It's going to help make the world a lot safer. I mean, because I know in Cambodia, there are literally places in the jungle you're not allowed to go because there are so many landmines there that you hear stories of kids just wandering into the jungle, not knowing any better, and like losing a leg because they found a landmine there.
This brings up a good point though. What are the environment application limitations for this? I mean, I'm sure I can't like roll this through a jungle, but maybe like a grassy field or something like that. I'm sure there's some limitations.
Yeah, you probably need somewhere where there's a lot of wind on there, so it's not suitable for all areas. But I think this is a good start, though. If he can figure out a way that works really well in relatively flat areas like this, in Afghanistan and everything, that we can start thinking of other ways that we can use similar devices like this in the jungle region.
Yeah, that's interesting. He has a TED Talk too. If you guys want to check it out, you can go to the Kickstarter.
So Isaac, time for the moment. You've already said that you wanted to back this, right?
Yeah, I want to back this project. This is cool.
I definitely say back on this one. This is what I actually think it brings back to one of the core points of crowdfunding projects, is that you're not necessarily backing a project to get an item or a product.
Yeah, it's possibly an idea, or
you're actually supporting someone's idea, and this guy's idea is excellent, and I'm gonna chip in a couple bucks too to see and help him get his dream come true. And there's only 14 days left, so you guys could jump on this, and you're gonna help a really, really good cause. Because there's nothing more horrible to think that somebody could just be going outside to get some water and getting hit by
and just have some landmine go off.
Yeah. So
on a more
on a
lively note,
livelier note, let's go to a project called the iPen 2 right here. And you might wonder, okay,
when was the iPen 1?
This you're probably thinking, okay, this is probably a just another stylus, right? That you would probably be wrong, as I can't find my example object.
We like to use props on a podcast.
I drop everything to find it, which I still can't find it. Okay.
So Stylus.
So for the stylus, the iPen is actually a iPad / there's a bunch of crap on the floor now. iPad / iMac. Yes, you heard me right. It's an iMac stylus for that. And so it's a pressure-sensitive, angle-agnostic, and lightweight stylus on there. What you don't get with a lot of the styluses out right now is they're not pressure-sensitive. This one actually comes with 1,024 levels of sensitivity. So depending on how hard you press down, you're going to get a different brush stroke than from just doing it lightly. And it already has support for some apps such as Corel Painter and Autodesk Sketchbook on Mac and Windows already. And they're actually, the way they can actually do this to make it angle agnostic is they actually use invisible light, so something beyond our visible spectrum, from the pen, and there's actually sensors on the corner of the iMac that detects where it is, and you can triangulate where you are on the surface from there. There's also an iPad version that is a case that you can clip to it using a lightning connector to the back of the iPad, and then the case actually stores your pen, and it's smart cover compatible, and you can actually charge both devices via a micro USB cable, so you don't have to carry around another lightning cable on there.
So the power sources for these sensors that go on the corner of your iMac, are those rechargeable?
I think they are. They should be rechargeable.
Yeah, I think they. Oh, they have this dock thing.
Yeah,
This is cool.
they have a little pretty cool dock that you can plug into, and so the reason why I actually like this is because you actually can use it for your iMac, which people are like, why would you ever want to use it on an iMac? Think about it, 27-inch iPad. Does that not sound sweet?
That does sound sweet.
On there. And another part of it that I enjoy is actually the tip of the stylus. It's actually a pen tip point, and this is actually, looking at this, this is actually the hand stylus, which is one of the Kickstarter projects we actually covered in our beta episodes, and this has one of the smaller tips for there, but you can still see it's still fairly large compared to what we have here on the iPen 2, which is actually a pen tip on there, so it works a little bit better on there.
And I like this because it's getting away from using. It's a high resolution sensor oriented pen without relying on the screen itself and friction to generate and track what your pen movements are.
Yeah.
So it's really trying to imitate a pen and what we're used to.
The thing is, it actually totally reminds me of my. I have a couple of Wacom tablets around, and the one thing I like about them is the pen tip on there. Like, it doesn't cover much. When you start using these devices like here, it tends to cover up a decent amount of
I mean,
the
it will
screen.
cover a whole word.
Yeah, but, that it kind of goes back to how the screen was designed. It was expecting a fingertip and nothing smaller than that. The one thing that I'm a little bit iffy about is I don't know what kind of material the pen tip's going to be made out of.
Yeah, how long is that going to last? I mean, it's like $160.
That, and I don't want to scratch my 27-inch iMac screen.
Of course, you don't want all these track marks all over it.
You don't want. So that's the one thing I'm a little bit iffy on it, but I still think it's a good idea. I also think I like how the iPad one has the micro USB on there, so you don't have to use carry a separate lightning connector to charge it on there. So Isaac, back, track, or sack?
I'm so indifferent. I don't know what to do. I want to see what happens with it. It's really cool, but I'm going to track. I'm not like totally psyched about it.
Mm-hmm. For me, I would probably say track also, because this is kind of a little bit more specialized. If you don't use a stylus that often on your iMac, it's a little bit pricey because I think it starts at $100 just for the iPad version, or $150 for the iPad version.
Yeah, it's $100 for the iPad, and then it's $150 for the iMac.
For the iMac version, and $200 for both of them. So it's a little bit pricey, but if you're a graphic artist or something and don't want to invest into one of those, because they have those Wacom styluses or Wacom tablets that actually you can mirror your display on them and draw on them too.
Yeah,
so
my buddy has one of those.
Depending on the size you get, those can go up to like $2,000 already. So $200 or $150 is a lot less.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't junk up their screen with marks.
Yeah. So I'd have to say track on that.
Yeah. Cool idea.
Yeah.
A lot of variables, and you want to kind of see what it's going to be like.
But I have faith that this company knows what they're doing, because it is the iPen 2, and I think they got the iPen 1 funded on Kickstarter itself. So
yeah, I think that's right.
It's not like they haven't done this before. They have an idea what they're going to do on there.
It's cool.
Talking about
so we should mention that it's 360,000 goal with 19,000. So which is always kind of interesting to look at those.
A little over a month to go.
Yeah.
So let's go on to our next project right here. Speaking about glass displays on here,
Yes.
how about a speaker made out of glass? So take it away, Isaac.
Yeah, so this next project, they call it the transparent speakers. So basically it comes in like Kickstarter sometimes has I apologize for talking away from the mic. Kickstarter sometimes they'll have like these kits where you can put things together. Like we ordered this I got this little gun that came in these laser cut wood kit and you just put it together. It was kind of fun and it works. So this guy has made this kit that you can put together. It has some mids, tweets, and it's not like a true woofer, but essentially it goes in this glass case, and then they have mounts, and then what it hooks up to AirPlay, but you have to get the AirPlay separate, so you can basically use it as a wireless speaker set. I mean, it's kind of I like lots of projects. I like the design about them. This is definitely more expensive, and you could build this yourself, but it's cool. Just the guy built it, made a design, a concept. I really appreciate that work that goes into fabricating something and bringing an idea to fruition and then making it available for people to potentially get. But yeah, so I should give some more specs.
Pretty much you're explaining that this is an IKEA speaker right here because it comes in flat pack.
It does. It does, but
like,
Americans love putting things together, and they love having it work. You know, that's why IKEA is a success.
I thought it was because IKEA is cheap.
It is cheap, and this speaker set is not the cheapest thing.
Well,
but it's still cool.
So
like I like the
what you actually
I like the
forgot
idea.
to mention is that this
the AirPlay
is not the AirPlay. Is that one? They only ship you the speakers in the frame. The glass, you actually have to go to a local glass manufacturer to do, or you can get a pre-built one.
You can get a pre-built one.
So you either
So if
there's
you
no
wanna pay
middle
more-
ground. There's no middle ground right there. You either have it already built for you, or you actually have to go and do the extra work. And at the price that they're asking for, it's probably cheaper if you just go out and build your own.
Yeah, I mean, I hear where you're coming from, and it's definitely the cool part. Like I said, I appreciate the design and everything of it, and how he brought this together. And like you said, it probably would be cheaper just to go out and build one yourself.
one of the things they kind of promote is like you're helping local businesses and stuff. So why not just source these speaker parts?
And you could. It's like a rep ramp Mendel printer. You know, you could go out and get all the parts and put it together. And he doesn't provide all the specs, but I mean, you can put a lot of it together.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Like, what do you think? I don't know. What do you think of the overall just presentation and design of the speakers? I think they're kind of unique. It reminds me of going into one of those, those Bose stores where they have the cutaway and you get to see like the foam stuff fly around, like, the vibrations. I don't know. It kind of has that feel to it.
Okay, Isaac. Here's the litmus test on this. Would your wife let you have one of these around the house with the speaker wires?
Yeah, so this is angled not towards, this is something like a college student or a single guy would want to get. She'd be like, what is that?
I'd take that as a no.
Yeah, so this would definitely go in your office out of sight. Because he calls them bookshelf speakers, I think, somewhere here. And look, he has the speakers next to some plants. I don't know. This isn't very good cable management, FYI.
This is not good cable porn at all. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Because the cable's
cable porn.
The cable's running just like right down the. Yeah, it's no good.
You know how much I appreciate good cable porn.
What would have been cool, and so I'm going to give him a suggestion to a design cue, is if he ran the speaker cables up into the frame box, so everything was hidden, so it was more seamless. I think that might add some allure to it. I don't know. So
I don't know. All right, so it's judgment time, Isaac. Back, sack, or track?
So I'm just in a tracking mood today.
So indecisive, Isaac. I'm gonna have to say sack on this one.
So I'm gonna track this project. It's already been funded, so he's won the support running on the IKEA model of Kickstarter fans. He has 351 backers, and he's raised 122,000 out of 120 goal. So, yeah. Let that speak for itself.
I don't know if you guys don't agree with me or you agree with Isaac. Send us some email at
Yeah, we
kickcast@ktdata.net.
want feedback about different projects.
So that's actually all the projects we have set up for now. Always a short show, but again, the email address, if you want to ever send us a project that you think, hey, I think it'd be cool if you guys featured this on the show, or hey, I think you'd want to back this project, and I back a lot of projects. Send that over to kickcast@ktdata.net. Also, we're on any social networks you can imagine. So facebook.com/kickcast, Twitter @kickcast, Google Plus is at plus.kickcast.net. And if you're not watching live, you can watch us live. Just come on over to live.kickcast.net. Speaking of that, our next show could possibly be January 10th. And the reason why I say possibly is because Isaac and I, along with everybody else at ktdata.net, which pretty much means just Dito, all of us are actually headed down to Las Vegas in a couple of days for the Consumer Electronics Show. If you guys have never seen the Consumer Electronics Show, it is the trade show of the year where most of the consumer electronic companies come out and show their goods and saying, hey, this is what we're going to be releasing for the next year in 2012.
Yeah.
We're going to see a lot of things there. If you have a Kickstarter project and are going to be at the Consumer Electronics Show, please let Isaac and I know, because we'd love to go down and interview you. We're going to have a camera and microphones and everything.
Yeah.
So we just want to set up an appointment to go talk to you guys on there. So that's what we're going to possibly do. So if January 10th you do not see an episode, it's probably because Isaac and I couldn't find any Kickstarter related or crowdfunding related projects down there. But we're going to try our best to see.
We'll find some.
But for sure, January 24th will be an episode. Right, Isaac? For sure.
For sure. 24th. No delays.
No delay. We're for sure going to have that there. And then if you want to see any of these projects, if we went way too fast for you, you can always check out our show notes at kickcast.net. And what's going to be appearing on KickCast soon is Isaac has gotten some of his backed projects, which is the Facet gun, or the Facet, which I still think
iPad stand.
I still think is ridiculous.
And the Bandit
gun. We're going to have blog/video reviews on there shortly. I also have a whole bunch of stuff, like I have mayonnaise. I have actually the Stylus right here that I want to put up there and everything. So it's going to be interesting. So keep an eye on kickcast.net on there. And other than that, Isaac, I swear the time flies when we're doing this.
Every time. Thanks for everyone in the chat room.
So hopefully you guys will see a pre-recorded episode in 2 weeks. Or next week, actually. Not even 2 weeks. Next week. And if not, we'll see you on the 24th.
See you then.